What is up, Philly? My name is Adam Den. My boy Ethan John is on the mic here with me, and welcome to episode 2 of the Broad Street Benchwarmers podcast, presented to you by Hungry Dog Sportbook. We're going to be updating that soon. Check it out. Link in the description. How you doing today, Ethan John? How you doing?
We're doing pretty good. We got a little more stuff. We talked mostly about
Hey.
the draft, but now we're a little past that, so we have a lot more like recent news and
Yeah, a lot of updates
So,
this week. This has been a
yeah.
big week.
All right, so I guess we'll start with big news in Philly. So even though it's we have some respectable depth, the Eagles are rumored to be linked with former
Hyde.
former Texan Carlos Hyde, former Eagle Sean McCoy, and former Falcons running back Devontae Freeman. So what do you think about that?
I don't know, Ethan John. I'm going to be
Yeah, me
real
neither.
with you. I don't know. Devontae Freeman has been a huge fantasy football back for me over the years.
Yeah.
I think he's great in the power game, but in the same time, you have to look at it as a whole. This Philadelphia Eagles organization, last season, Miles Sanders, those last 8 weeks was just off the ball fantastic.
Yeah.
So you have to worry about the development of Miles in this system if you're going to add another back when really, I mean, the first 8 weeks with Jordan Howard, he was not the same as he was those last 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't be sure. I love Shady. I think he's a little past his prime.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend to know a ton about what Carlos Hyde has done in recent years.
Yeah.
He was great in San Francisco. I know that. I know he had a career year in Houston under Lamar Miller, which, I mean, you know, I don't know how much that meant. I mainly,
Looking at Pro Football Reference, he had 1,000 yards last year, which is career high. So I mean,
yeah, that's great.
6 touchdowns, 4.4 yards a carry.
That Texans O-line was not good.
Yeah, it was not very good
at all. Deshaun Watson was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in football.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't translate straight to run protection, but still.
Yeah.
And so that could be an option. They paid him $1.94 million last year. I think if you can get him on a cheap deal and it does not stunt Miles Sanders' growth, we know this is going to be a rotation.
Yeah.
There's never going to be a lead running back in the Doug Peterson offense, just the way it is built in its West Coast style.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that could be good if they can make it work.
Mm-hmm. So
all right.
Devontae Freeman, he started 14 games, only 650 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean,
well, I think he was playing with injuries too.
Yeah, he was injured.
I mean, you look at the 2 seasons before that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Sharing the carries with Tevin Coleman.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and with him gone, and now he's in San Fran. So.
And I don't know. He might be more expensive than Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
I'd say I'd put him around $6 million per year. I think that might be.
It
would be a lot.
Yeah, I would definitely not pay that, but yeah.
Yeah, and Shady will be incredibly cheap, but I honestly think he's burnt out. Yeah. I mean, Andy Reid was afraid to play him in the Super Bowl, so I don't know.
So it's just a sort of Deshaun Jackson thing. You just want him for the nostalgia, but
it's not worth it.
He's not actually gonna do much, but it's fine.
No.
Yeah, I just hope that Clement comes back.
I do too.
And
I do too. I love Corey Clement. Yeah. Just a great story out of Wisconsin. I thought he should have been drafted. Watching him, I mean, he tore up my Nittany Lions in the championship game 2 years ago. And so, 2 years before he got drafted. So, just great story. Performed amazing in the Super Bowl. I wish the best to him. And Boston Scott.
Yeah, Boston Scott. Yeah, he had some solid games in the year.
Boston Scott is a legend, man. If he can get him going the way he did at the end of the season, I wouldn't take any of these 3 guys. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a great number 2 running back, and they won 3 straight games. I don't know if I mean, those were 3 bad run defenses
Mm-hmm.
in Washington, in New York, and in Dallas. So
I mean, yeah.
we'll see. But
Right.
I think it's a solid. One of those guys would be a solid option if they
Yeah.
don't still Miles Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
So our NBA news of the week: Giannis Antetokounmpo has a player option in 2020-2021 that allows him to opt out and enter free agency. And reportedly, the Golden State Warriors are going to be chasing him and are building cap space to reclaim their dynasty. What do we think of this, Ethan John?
I mean, just as a Giannis fan, it's very confusing, honestly. But I mean, from the Warriors' perspective, I mean, anybody in the league would love to have Giannis, of course.
Yeah,
But I think the thing is, like, being like a homegrown foreign guy just coming to the league, going to Milwaukee. I think he's happy here, but now happy there in Milwaukee. But I think the problem is just since I don't know, since he probably considers himself, and I think I agree, he's like the best player in the league. And just
I agree.
if he can't compete like for a title with that core, then I think he sort of has a reason to leave. But I still don't agree with it. But because I mean,
I yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
because if he can't at least make it to the finals in the next years so, until his contract expires, then I think there's definitely a chance that he'll leave.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Milwaukee. I mean, I just got my Sports Illustrated 2 months ago, and they had this huge story about how, I mean, that's kind of his home, and
Yeah.
how that city has accepted him, and he loves it there, and they're winning basketball games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this team was on pace for 60, 70 wins
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the season. So if you're going to continue to contend and you love that city, I don't see any reason why
Yeah.
he would leave at all. And I mean, I think Golden State has every right to chase him. I
Yeah.
think that's smart by
Mm-hmm.
them. I think Miami's another team you could look at if he
Yeah.
does want to leave. I think Jimmy Butler and the culture that they have created there. But I just can't see it with
Yeah.
the way
Yeah. Me neither.
Giannis is perceived in the media and is
Yeah.
perceived around the NBA.
Yeah. He seems too humble to just sort of ditch his team. Just
Yeah,
yeah. Sure.
he's team guy.
Mm-hmm. So on to the next one. Of course, he hasn't played at all this season due to that Achilles injury in the finals against the Raptors. So Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. So since we're obviously on like a suspended season, like once it comes back, like will he and like the Nets like rebound and like live up to the expectations of signing like the two perennial free agents and like still have some solid pieces like next to them? Like, will they actually be contenders in the East? Like once they're all back and healthy.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, he won't play the end of this season
Yeah.
due to the Woj report that we just got in.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if Kevin Durant's ever going to be the same because you look at the list of players with torn Achilles
Yeah.
in the past. The list that have recovered nicely starts Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
That is the entire list. So I think, despite the fact that, I mean, the man's just a physical specimen. I mean, to
Yeah.
be 6'10 and to just be able to just knock down threes the way he does over defenders,
Mm-hmm.
that's just insane. So I think that part of his game will always be there.
Yeah.
But I don't know if his ability to get to the rack
Yeah. I don't think
or to
it'll be
play
as
D,
explosive.
I don't
Yeah.
think, yeah, he'll be able to. I don't know if he'll be able to recover in that way. And the Nets look like a mess.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know why they. I
Kyrie's
had no idea why they fired Kenny Atkinson.
no. No idea.
I feel like it's just a Kyrie thing, but
I thought he should have won Coach of the Year
yeah, I thought he was a
last
really good
season.
coach.
He was a great coach. That Brooklyn Nets team, I mean, look what D'Angelo Russell was the best player on that team
Yeah.
and an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he carried, they built that team around him and through that system. And I think you look at the success he's having now when he's out of that system. He hasn't been the same this
Yeah,
season
definitely
at
not.
all. He hasn't been as explosive. He hasn't been, and I know part of that is that he had to play half of that team with that Golden State season with that Golden State team, which is,
Yeah, it was not good.
not fun.
And
But
Minnesota, which is
and Minnesota.
a joke.
But Minnesota, well, you've got
We've got
Malik
Cat.
Beasley, who's a decent shooter.
Cat.
Hasn't played that much.
Yeah, you have Culver, who's fine.
Culver's good. You got Okogie,
Yeah,
who's fine.
yeah, I like him.
And so, for you to take the core you had in Jared Allen and D'Lo and Dinwiddie and Levert and automatically turn that into a team which us as Philly fans, you have to remember, we were terrified.
Yeah.
After game 1 of the playoffs.
Yeah.
We were horrified of this team. And so I think that was a bad move by them. And now I don't know about their future because I don't know what Kyrie is doing inside his little mind messing up teams. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
Just how he destroys these great
games.
I mean, yeah. I don't understand his mindset.
Fine, yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, to go out and make those comments about how he's gonna deconstruct this team, I just don't understand, why there would be any need for that.
Yeah, me neither.
But we'll see. We'll see how they turn out.
Right.
I just can't see them as a contender.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think just the two LA teams
as a finals contender.
Yeah,
I think the two LA teams. Obviously.
Yeah, the two LA teams, Milwaukee. You could, I don't know.
I think you can make an argument for Toronto if they were to get some kind of superstar in the near future to go alongside Siakam. I like OG Anunoby a lot.
Yeah.
I like Serge Ibaka defensively, and so I think that's a solid team to look. And Boston, Jason Tatum.
I'd say Boston. Yeah, Tatum is ridiculous.
The evolution of Jason Tatum has just been insane. I mean, the muscle he's put on, his ability, his clutchness.
Yes.
That's just found. And that's from Kyrie leaving, too.
Yeah,
I hate to.
So now he's a better option, and Kemba is probably better than Kyrie. It's close.
It's close.
Just Kyrie.
You can't take out Kyrie's
handles. Yeah. I won't discount Kyrie at all. But like with the injury, he would be out for the year regardless. So, I mean, I don't know.
And what's that? Is that 3 straight seasons he's been injured now?
Think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
He didn't play. I got him in fantasy, and he barely played.
Yeah. Like, at what point? He's always going to be a superstar because of his handles and his ability to create his own shot. But at one point, do you balance that out with the fact that he's killing teams and he can't stay healthy? Yeah. Like, you're paying this man $180 million, but unless you're going to heed to all his demands when he can't even stay on the court, your team has the possibility of not being successful. I think that's a definite problem. And I mean, he's dealing with the fact probably that he's not. I think Kevin Durant's going to be the leader of this team.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Durant, I think even with a torn Achilles, is going to be the best player on this team. Well, because like we talked about, that catch and shoot ability of him at 6'10" with that 3-point shot is just uncanny.
Yeah, and regardless of how Kyrie perceives himself, he's still like so much better as a number 2.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's why it didn't really work out in Boston.
Exactly.
But like with LeBron and in Cleveland, he was perfect fit for him. And I think KD is like a similar. I mean,
Yeah, I would definitely say.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years ago, at the end of the regular season, I would have put if I had an MVP vote, one of my top three would have been Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Just I know he was on that Warriors team,
Yeah.
but he just dominated even without Steph, night in and night out. And I mean, I think if you had put him on, that Bucks team, he would have had the same impact that Giannis did.
Yeah.
So I
And
think he was great.
what else was I gonna say? Like the roster, like for both teams, like thinking of like the Cleveland team a few years ago, and this Brooklyn team is sort of similar. Like you have
Yeah,
some, you have some solid like options that like other than the superstars, and like,
yeah,
but the difference is like a lot more younger and a lot more, I don't know, interesting. Like I really like Karis LeVert, I like Jared Allen, I like Dinwiddie a
yeah.
lot too. Joe
I don't
Harris.
know. I don't know if I see that Kevin Love.
Yeah,
You
there is
get
no
what I'm
Kevin Love.
saying?
Yeah,
Like that
yeah, I think
in the
Cleveland was a lot
paint
more
scoring
top. Yeah, I
defense
think I was a little
option.
more top heavy.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think their talent is a lot more like, I don't know, like skewed about because they have a lot of young,
Yeah.
solid players.
But I also think you have bad contracts on that team
Yeah,
too. DeAndre Jordan is not good at basketball
yeah,
at this point in
he's
his
way
career, man. I'm
past his
sorry.
prime.
He is way past his prime. And so I think that by itself takes away money. I mean, Karis LeVert, you're going to have to pay at some point.
Yeah,
I don't know if he is a solid starting option at the shooting guard position. I think he's good. I think he's not great. And so these are all questions. I mean, you have to worry about the future if you are a Brooklyn Nets fan. You're still, I mean, to quote 6ix9ine, the king of New York. But, I don't know if you are the king of the East just yet.
yeah. So Dinwiddie's under contract for 3 more until 2022, and let's see, Karis LeVert. Um, he is under contract oh, okay. Okay, he got a 3-year, $52.5 million extension.
That's cheap for Dinwiddie.
When was no, this is LeVert. Like that was
LeVert.
LeVert 3-year, 52.5 million last year. So that would be 2 years left in this deal.
Yeah, 2 years left on this deal.
All right. Yeah, I think they're.
Not bad.
I think they're a top when they're all healthy. They're a top 3 team. No, top 4 team, honestly.
A top 4 team in
Yeah.
the
And
NBA.
in the East, in the East.
In the East, I agree with that.
Not in the NBA, not in the NBA.
Yes,
Definitely.
I agree with that.
Because I still say Boston and Milwaukee and maybe even Toronto.
I think, yeah, Boston, Milwaukee.
And you could even say Miami, but I don't know.
I love what they're throwing out.
Yeah.
But I think they need somebody who can shoot the ball. And I mean, I think they need a true point guard.
Sure.
I think Chris Paul would be perfect there. But we'll say.
So all right. So we have some good news in sports. So in July, apparently, at least in July, the MLB plans to come back. So finally, we get to see the Phillies disappoint us for like the 10th year in a row.
Oh God.
But I mean, the probably the fortunate thing for us is that they plan to have an expanded playoffs, so not just a very like.
That's good.
So we can go 500 and again and maybe slip in. I don't know.
Well, I mean, what Fauci said was that for sports to come back, what he can see them doing is they're gonna have all the players are gonna be quarantined. There's gonna be, empty stadiums, no fans. And so, I mean, baseball is definitely gonna look a lot different in 2020.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of players. I wouldn't be surprised if there were a lot of players who still didn't want to participate. I mean, it's gonna be a huge risk because,
Yeah.
it's still a decently sized gathering onto
Hmm.
a baseball field. So I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert, but I think there could be controversy
Yeah.
that comes with this move if they do end up returning in July or even after that.
Yeah. And ignoring all this like sort of depressing stuff, this is very minimal, but I'm pretty sure to like protect some of the players just to make sure they aren't like overworked. They're trying to implement designated hitters in both leagues, which would be great. I don't know. I think it
That
could.
would be cool.
I think
I think
it could help out some of the
we've
pitchers.
been
Yeah.
waiting for that for a while
Yeah.
for them to
We don't want to see Zach Eflin hit the ball,
No,
or he's
we
not gonna.
don't.
He doesn't hit the ball like to begin with.
But when we went to the Phillies game,
Yeah,
Aaron
yeah.
Nola
Nola got
was
a hit.
great. Nola got 3 hits. That was fantastic. But for the
Yeah,
most part,
it's,
seeing pitchers hit is
it's
not fun.
yeah, unless
But
it's like
it's
Mad
brutal.
Bum or like
Yeah.
that's about it. Or I guess Otani, but obviously he's a
But obviously,
killer
yeah,
guy.
he's an actual hitter. He's
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to one more baseball headline. So it was right about about a day or so after our first episode.
Yep.
ESPN released a trailer for a Roy Halladay documentary called Imperfect, obviously referencing his perfect game back in the day, and I think it's gonna like document or like sort of chronicle his history as a player, and also like I think the obvious meaning of imperfect, like relating to like his drug use and like how that ended up
Yep.
costing him his life, which is obviously awful. But
Awful.
I think it'll be definitely interesting, and I think it's been a while since Phillies got this sort of like recognition as far as baseball goes, and since obviously 2008. So
I think yeah.
I think it'll be definitely a tough watch, but I think it'll definitely be interesting, and I think it'll display one of the better pitchers of this century's story, and just looking forward to it.
I think Roy Halladay I think it helps that the family is involved in this.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
it wouldn't be I mean this is sad stuff and I wouldn't want his legacy to be tainted in any way as a great baseball player and as a fan of his. I mean, we love Doc.
Yeah,
And so I think it helps that the family is involved in this and I think because of that it's going to be an interesting watch on ESPN.
yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Hey,
Yeah.
did you heard about the Kobe thing, right?
The what thing?
The Kobe documentary.
Yes, I did hear about that. That
Yeah,
they have footage of Kobe's last season as a Laker. Now that would be a
that'd be
sad
amazing.
watch. That would
But
be
it'll
amazing.
show the
That
last
would
game and
be
all
really
that.
sad.
So
Yeah,
it'll probably be the Storm's same sort of format as a Last Dance, like the
yo,
footage. So it'll definitely
which
be fun, even though
I
the
mean,
Lakers are pretty bad that season. But I,
yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you get to see young. We talked about D'Angelo Russell earlier. You get to
yeah,
see young D'Angelo Russell, Swaggy P,
yeah,
Nick Young, that Kobe game that we talked
yeah,
about.
yeah,
And just, I mean, that kind of end tour, all these documentaries. I just watched the Dwayne Wade one actually
yeah,
the other night. And that was cool for me too. Just seeing these guys in their quote unquote last dances, and their tours as far as these NBA players. I
yeah.
think that's always going to be cool.
I assume they'll do the sort of thing that they did with the Last Dance, and like I know it'll be centrally focused on that season, but I assume they'll go throughout his career, which I hope they do, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and go back and forth between the two. I mean, I feel like, and we're going to get into this when we talk about The Last Dance. I feel like there's not a lot of depth as far as new stuff that comes with that going back and forth. But, for the people who didn't get to see Michael Jordan in 1991 win his first championship and stuff like that, that's always going to be a cool thing.
Mhm.
So, leading with that, on Sunday night, we got episodes 7 and 8 of The Last Dance. Pretty huge um, developments inside these episodes.
Yeah.
There was probably the most shocking moment of the documentary yet. And there haven't been a lot of shocking moments, I think,
Yeah, most of it has been like,
so
yeah.
far. Most of it, like we said, has been flashbacked. But I think with about like 2 minutes left in the episode, about to end, we get Mike, and he's talking about how, his he his teammates didn't love him,
Yeah, definitely.
and how he wanted to push them to win, and how, I mean, he has that line, you don't respect it because you've never won anything before. But right before the episode ends, he starts crying.
Yeah.
And he just starts tearing up, and he says break, break, and then the episode's over, and I was just stunned.
Yeah, I would have never expected that. I feel like he was
I
always just like, I feel like he didn't, I feel like as such a competitive player and such a powerful leader, I didn't think he would have really cared that it would have like actually like
no.
gotten to his soul, gotten to his teammates at all.
And I think the way we view Michael Jordan, we view him almost as a god because,
Yeah.
He has this giant sneaker industry, the best player of all time, worked everybody to death. He's this giant tough guy, the shooting free throws with his eyes closed. And to see that moment of vulnerability
Yeah.
from such a legend about a topic like that,
Yeah.
it's just startling. And I think that's going to go down as historically one of the probably the best moment of that series because
Yeah.
that's something we never have seen before or got to see, and the
No.
director talked about it, how stunning it was in person. Shout out to the Jalen Jacoby after show. We love Jalen Rose and David Jacoby here on this pod.
Yeah, sure.
But they talked to the director, and he was just like, I knew this was going to be a stunning moment coming in because, I mean, for Mike, the only other time he cried during this thing was talking about his father, and so,
Yeah.
which, I mean, obviously the loss of your dad that's gonna promote that emotion,
Yeah.
but for him to get that emotional about how he's viewed and not being that nice guy, I think that opens up Michael Jordan to us in a way that we've never seen him before. And that, maybe it was hard for him, having the media in his face and, the Jordan rules. And maybe it did get to him, which he's a human too. And you can see
Yeah.
that.
And also, like, I mean, this is sort of veering from like the sad part and like I don't know, the visceral part of it. I don't know, like the the Gary Payton thing is obviously everywhere.
Oh, yes. The Gary Payton thing. I
Yeah.
actually did my research on the Gary Payton thing.
Yeah.
And so Gary Payton actually did a little more clamping on Michael Jordan than Michael Jordan proclaims he did not. Michael Jordan had 23.7 points per game in the 1996 NBA Finals. And I got this from a CBS Sports story that explained this. And Joe DeMars, who Mike said was the toughest person who ever guarded him, Mike dropped 30 on him all 3 times they played Detroit.
Yeah.
So Gary Payton, we can laugh about it, but the glove did a little work on Mike. I don't know. But that was a fun moment.
Yeah.
That was a fun moment of levity, definitely, in that show.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have any other thoughts? Like, we got the last 2 episodes this Sunday, so obviously cover that.
Yeah, we'll
Once that drops.
definitely be up with that. That's going to be huge. The trailer for that, I mean, I think that's going to be definitely a great
Yeah.
night. And that's pretty much all we have. So thank you so much, guys, for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
And we'll be back
Yeah.
probably very soon with The Last Dance and a lot more. So thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you.